Zuby, the man, the myth, the legend. Is it Mr. Zuby? Or just Zuby?
Just Zuby is fine.
All right, just Zuby is fine. All the way from the UK, right, man? Welcome to Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks. I'm blessed and highly favored.
So you are, man. I don't even know where to take this thing. I found you online, found you on the Twitter.
Hmm.
You are hurting people's brains with a little logic, a lot of dichotomy, right? People want to pigeonhole you, and you're like, man, you can't put me in that box. So I
Mm.
love how you fight back again with logic. You're, I mean, by trade, if that's fair to say. I mean, you're a musician at heart, right? Is that where kind of you got your start?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a professional rapper, so
Okay.
that's where everything started in terms of me being in the public eye.
So how does a rapper from the UK end up being a social media phenom talking about life, politics, common sense? How did that
Mm.
unfold?
Man, I've been doing it for a while. I started sharing more of my thoughts and views outside of the world of music in 2018, just because the way the world was going somewhat prompted me to. These are conversations I've been having in public for a long time, stuff that I think about a lot, and I didn't really realize how much of an appetite and a necessity there was for it. To this day, I feel like 90% of the stuff I say is fairly straightforward and shouldn't really be all that controversial. I mean, sometimes I know I can kick the hornet's nest a little bit, but I do think that the vast majority of stuff I say is, well thought out, reasoned, rational. I don't think it's some super crazy opinion or something really far fetched or anything like that. But I think that we're living in a time where telling the truth and being honest and being authentic is just rather unique and revolutionary. And as a result of that, not just through my music, but through different aspects of social commentary and interviews and my own podcast, I've managed to just reach I don't even know how many people, certainly in the millions, reach a ridiculous amount of people who seem hungry for this message and who are open-minded and who want to hear, something positive. We're living in a time where everybody wants to be pointing the finger outwards and be blaming other things and be blaming whether it's the system or this politician or that. No one wants to sort of look inwards
Right.
and just sort of take that accountability. And I think that's a really negative mindset for people to be stuck in. So from the beginning, this is not new for me. If you go back and listen to my very first album from 2006, I've kind of been saying the same thing, whether it's rhyming or not rhyming, which is really, you've got a lot of potential. You can do a lot of good in the world. Go chase after your dream. You don't need to conform to whatever boxes people try to put you in. Be true to yourself, tell the truth, all that kind of stuff. And it seems now more than ever, people are really resonating with it.
Yeah. I mean, looking back on your success, certainly online, right? Would you recommend other people follow this model, to grow their business, right? The local IT shop or the local chiropractor, because we hear you don't talk about sex, money,
Mhm.
politics, religion, just be a chiropractor, right? Go snap necks and stick to that.
Sure.
Um, it doesn't seem
Um,
to have hurt your business, but can entertainers, can artists be more vocal than the local chiropractor?
yes, we can.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, that's for a whole bunch of different reasons. One of them is just the level of independence. So of course I'm self-employed. I don't work for anybody. I'm my own boss. I'm also my own product. So there's not a strong delineation between me and what I promote and what people latch onto. Of course, I don't literally sell myself, but I sell my music, I sell my podcasts, not literally, but I have advertising on them and everything.
Sure.
I sell my book, I sell my advice and my coaching services. Everything I do is based around myself. It's very much a personal brand. So if someone is working for a corporation or a company that's a lot more, I guess just totally neutral. You use the example of a chiropractor. Then yeah, sure, there are chiropractors out there who could put out more of a personal brand and could share more of their opinions and thoughts and whatever like that. I view the whole thing kind of like a sliding scale, so you don't need to go to the extreme of being totally closed off and just speaking in corporate terms, but you also don't need to go to the other extreme where you're sharing every single detail of your personal life and stuff that's super private and
Right.
relationships and every single meal that you're eating. Some people do certainly overshare on social media. And depending on who you are and what kind of business you're in or what it is that you're trying to achieve, I think each individual needs to work out where they want to set their tone on that sliding scale. For some people, it's like, okay, I'm not going to talk about these subjects whatsoever. And
Right.
that's totally fine. And that's reasonable. I don't recommend everybody take my approach. And even with me, I mean, there are certain things that I will not talk about at all, pretty much.
Right.
It may seem like I'm having no filter, but I actually have a very, very strong filter in terms of what I put out there. So, I can I can share a wide range of topics, and I know my audience appreciates hearing my opinion on those, even if they disagree or, they're not on board with everything. They know that I'm being authentic, I'm being honest, I'm not trying to deceive people or
Right.
share opinions and views that I don't truly believe in. And I know that that itself plays into my own brand, if I'm to think of it that way. But really, it's just me being me.
How did you pick Twitter to be your outlet? Did you just kind of, you were just there already, or?
I was already there, man. I've been on Twitter since 2009. It's not the first one. I mean, I've been on Facebook since 2004. Been on YouTube since 2006. So Twitter is not the first one I was on at all. Before all that, I was on MySpace and things like that. So Twitter only became my main social platform around 2018. And that was largely because of the Facebook algorithm starting to really crush organic reach.
Mm-hmm.
So I already had my Twitter following on there. I think in 2018, I would have had about 10 to 12,000 followers already. So yeah, I started using Twitter more as my main channel, and it became even more effective for me once they doubled the character limit from
Yeah,
140 to 280.
sure.
Because the way I write and the way I think, it's near impossible to put some of the sort of content that I put out there in such a short frame. So Twitter just works well for me. I love the platform. I like the way it works. I think it's the best social media platform, hands down. Actually, I don't even think there's competition in terms of what I do.
Right.
So that's why I use it. I'm on all of them though. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram.
Right.
I use them all, but Twitter is certainly my favorite.
Are you planning things out, or are you in the moment, talking about things that hit you? Because I mean, some of your things are quite deep. I'm like, man, where's he getting this stuff from? Like, I'd have to read for a whole weekend just to get ready for Monday, and then man, you'll throw 7 of those out on a Monday. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's he getting this stuff?
Yeah, it's spontaneous, man. I don't plan, I don't schedule. It's all organic. All my tweets are in real time. A lot of people recommend scheduling tweets. I actually don't schedule any of my tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is tweeted in real time. If I'm sleeping, you're not going to see any tweets coming from my account. If I'm awake and I have a thought and I want to share it with the world, then I will.
Yeah, cool. And have you seen a spike in business? I mean, can you point back and like, hey, here I am, 2018,
Yes.
getting vocal, and sales are going up?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My book is now sold about 1,500 copies, and that's totally independent. That's not even with Amazon. That's purely my website, teamzubi.com and gumroad.com. I've just been promoting and selling my book on there. I'm currently doing the 3rd run of paperbacks because the first 2 sold out. So the sales have been good. My merchandise sales have gone up. My music streams and sales and downloads have all gone up, just as my audience continues to grow and more people discover me every day. So look,
Mm-hmm.
I used to always want people to come through the front door of my music. And now I look, Team Zubi is a house, and I don't care what door you come in. You can come in through the front door, through the music. You can come in through the podcast or a feature that I've done on somebody else's podcast or interview. You can come in because you're interested in my fitness advice or just some of my mindset stuff or motivational stuff. I don't care. If
Right.
I can offer something of value that helps anybody in any way through my words or my actions, then let's do it.
Yeah. how do you decide which of the trolls to engage, delete and block, or just ignore?
Oh wow. It, I don't have a set guide. I try not to block people. I avoid blocking people unless they're libeling me or my fans, or they're being legitimately like very hostile or abusive. I never block or mute people simply because they disagree with me, because that's how people end up in these weird echo chambers.
Right.
I'm totally open to criticism. I'm open to disagreement as long as it remains decently respectful. You know, if someone just
Right.
wants to jump in there and tell lies about me or try to slander me, or they want to, threaten me,
Yeah.
or my followers for that matter, right? If I see
Sure.
someone attacking my followers, then yeah, they'll get a block, because if it's someone who's just annoying, then I'll just mute them, because I
Yeah.
don't want them to access. I view access to my tweets as a privilege, right? So if you want to if someone wants to act like an idiot, then I have no problem. If they're getting ridiculous, like I said, I'll just
Right.
block them, because I think my block list is probably less than. I'd be surprised if it's more than about 50 people. Like
Oh well.
you really have to be a terrible person for me to block you.
Right.
So I try not to do it. But yeah, and then in terms of engagement, I normally have a quick scan and see if it's worthwhile. If it's someone who's got a big following and they're coming after me, then I'll happily air them out, because then I can, use them to my advantage. If it's someone who's got 3 followers and they're just trying to bait me, then sometimes I'll start typing a reply, and then I'm like, why am I responding to an
Yeah.
anonymous account
Exactly.
with no followers?
Got to pick your battles, huh?
Exactly. It's a waste of time, and I don't want to let them win by draining my own time and energy, because that is valuable.
Yeah. Amen. Have you had any issues like out and about? I mean, people confronting you, or are people usually just braver online than they are in person?
I mean, sometimes they want to take selfies or get an autograph or something. That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool. But
Yeah.
like nobody calling names or whatever, hey
In the
idiot,
real
you're the
world,
one
no.
online, and what's that?
No. Um,
Okay, cool.
no, and I wouldn't expect
Well, I
that
mean,
either.
here, dude, in the States, I just saw a guy. His wife got him a red hat. Said
Mm,
make 50 great again, right?
sure.
And a woman walked up, slapped him so hard, cut his face. And so it's like
Just
I'm
randomly, like a
just
stranger.
randomly,
Mm.
dude. And it's like I literally, I mean, I got a family. I don't wear stuff like that in public because I mean, they're literally losing their minds over here.
I'd wear that. I'd wear a red hat. In fact, you're tempting me to make one now. I might need to add that to my merchandise list.
I've got one, man. Make sales great again.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I might
But
make one
it's,
that just says like it's just a hat, chill out, or something like that.
I know, but it's like, I don't know, especially with a family, right? I'm not going to put my family at risk
Mm,
just to make a statement. If I'm alone, hey, I'll do whatever. I don't,
yeah, sure.
I can handle my
I
own.
don't
But
know, man. Look, I think people like that are borderline terrorists. Like if
well,
you're
they
if
are, but they exist.
yeah,
And that's
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they
yeah,
do. I don't know. I'd be very curious to. I mean, I'd wear a literal MAGA hat in public, and I've never
yeah,
done it before. I don't own one, but
yeah. I don't either.
theoretically, I would. I don't care, even if it was just to annoy people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, obviously, myself being a black guy, it would probably be extra confusing for certain types of people. So it would probably be a fun social experiment. But I
Oh,
would be
hold
careful.
on. Whoa. You're black?
Whoa.
I thought
Well,
you were just
actually,
like a tan Swede.
I'm actually more brown. I don't think anyone's actually black or white if we're being technical. But
Yeah,
in the
dude.
random way human beings have decided to
This
categorize
is
each other.
messing things up, man. I'm on the right side of the political aisle. I can't be seen associating with black people or even
Oh,
brown
really?
people.
Oh,
Oh
crazy.
God, this is like messing up my world. All right, let me see. I had
Oh,
some other questions. So you got me off my game with that whole thing,
yeah.
man.
Shocker.
So yeah, I mean, I love it. And what what I would encourage my listeners to do, and I'm thinking through this myself because I was on Facebook a lot with a lot of political stuff, and I've toned it down the last several years. And like I'm thinking about this, like just kind of following in your footsteps, because I too see things progressing in a way that I don't like. It concerns me. I've got a family. I got kids. I do want to make the world a better place. Can I do that with social media? Maybe, maybe not. But I mean, you entered this just organically, right? You didn't have an agenda. You're like,
No.
hey, I'm gonna speak my mind and let the chips fall where they may. And now 2 years later, it has helped your business. So can somebody, I don't want somebody to do this. And by this, I mean, be more vocal on social media with your opinions. I
Sure.
don't want them to do it just for the sole purpose of growing their business.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Because you almost become a caricature of yourself. Like, oh, let me shape this post in the way to bring the most clicks to my website. Right. Cause
that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, that could be kind of self-defeating, huh?
Sure. Yeah. It's also just not, it's disingenuous. It's not authentic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look, I'm a rapper. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I'm a public figure. Like, why would people expect me not to contribute my own commentary and ideas and everything like that? Isn't everybody else doing it, right? Isn't everybody else complaining about all these celebrities collecting their awards and giving their speeches and always sharing their views on politics? And it's like, whoa, wait, well, if everyone else can do it, why would I not be able to? You see what I mean? In fact, you get people, musicians saying, yeah, musicians actually should do this. They should talk more about that. They should. I'm like, okay. And then some people were like, oh no, not like that. Because it turned out, some of my views aren't necessarily what they assume they may be. Right. Although again, I'm a very moderate dude. But I have strong opinions on certain things. And a lot of what I do is also just encouraging discourse and encouraging tolerance and encouraging actual diversity of thought and opinion. Like I was saying, I'm not going to block someone or whatever because they disagree with me. I'm followed by people all across the political spectrum. And I think that's actually cool. I would honestly say I think I'm one of the artists and maybe even accounts on Twitter that legitimately has one of the most diverse followings.
Right.
Not, like in terms of actual ideology and worldview and politics and everything like that. I mean, the other day I posted something saying that it was probably one of my best tweets to like upset everybody, where I said something about, I think that both Donald Trump and Barack Obama were decent presidents. And so that just, there's plenty of people who agree with one of them and disagree with the other. But the fact that I said that I think they're both decent, that was like, hey, like, what side are you on here? So, and that's kind of the point, it's like, look, I've got my own views. I've got my own opinions and everything like that. And I've got a right to express them, and I will express them. If you want additional explanation, I'm happy to explain anything that doesn't make sense to people or surprises people or anything. But ultimately, I just encourage free thinking, and I do encourage people to, unite. I try not to be divisive. I do try to, I might be polarizing, but I try not to be divisive, because that's ultimately what I'm fighting against. And I do think fundamentally we all have way more in common than we have that differentiates us. I mean, that is one of the problems with politics in general, and identity politics in particular, is the game is set up to make people focus on the differences, right? Rather than to make people focus on the fact that, I mean, this is the difference between Twitter and real life, right? You go out in real life and everybody is essentially getting on with each other, right?
Yeah.
At least they're being civil. You don't go out in the street and people are fighting and attacking each other on public transit. Generally people are very cool, calm. You're in the US, Republicans and Democrats are walking past each other and working with each other and doing stuff with each other every single day, and there's no friction. And then suddenly people jump online and they go back in their little bunkers and start firing missiles at each other. And and that's kind of the way politics is set up, unfortunately. Sure. But I think, people can do that. They can share their opinions. They can have their discussions. But at the end of the day, it's a bit like a soccer match or any sports, right? Two teams play against each other. You push, you fight, you win, you lose, whatever. But then, you shake hands and it's like, yeah, good game, Right. And I think ideally that's really how politics should be. If people don't want to even play, or they refuse to shake each other's hands afterwards or whatever, then, that's where you've got a problem. And also it's a very immature attitude. Yeah. It's one small part of people's lives. Ultimately, what do most people care about, right? They care about, looking after themselves, making sure they have enough money, paying their bills, looking after their children and their family and their relationships, having good friends, being in good health, all of that stuff. And that is totally apolitical. Like whatever your stripe,
Right.
most everybody can agree on those. How you reach those things, sure, there might be some differentiation. Maybe this person wants the healthcare system to be set up this way. This other person thinks it should be set up that way. This person thinks we should be giving more foreign aid. This person thinks, it's like, okay, cool. But is that worth beating each other up over or attacking someone for wearing a red hat? No, it's absolutely not. And when you break it down like that, then I think most people can understand why it's kind of silly when people get so into it that they become very sort of blinded by rage.
Yeah. Crazy, huh? So you've got your music, right? ZubiMusic.com.
Mm-hmm.
And your book, the book is on fitness, right?
Yeah.
And
It's called
how'd you
Strong
get into
Advice.
that?
Sure. So I've been going to the gym since I was about 15. Um, I went to boarding school in the UK from the age of 11. So I played sports all throughout my life, really. But when I got to the UK when I was 11 or 12, I actually started playing rugby. And after playing for a couple years, once I hit my teenage years, when I was like 14, 15, I actually started going to the gym just to get better at rugby, to become a little bit stronger and fitter and bigger, build some muscles and stuff like that. And I've been going to the gym pretty consistently since then. First couple of years, I didn't really know what I was doing. Been through a lot of ups and downs, tried different diets, gained weight, lost weight, gained more weight, lost more weight, been through all these different cycles of it. And I've been helping people with fitness stuff on an informal basis for a long time. I'm someone people have always come to and ask for advice. So I thought, you know what, let me put together an ebook that has all the info people need to learn how to build muscle, burn fat, gain weight, lose weight, stay in shape, get stronger, all that kind of stuff. So I put it together as an ebook to begin with, and it started selling very well. And so I also followed it up with an audiobook, and I've also done a few runs of the paperback as well. And yeah, the book is getting great reviews. It's helped a lot of people, and yeah, it's just, another positive thing that I can put out into the world. So I'm very happy that I did it.
And they can get that on your website. Is that it's teamzubi.com is your?
Yeah,
Okay.
teamzubi.com. You can get my book there. You can also get my music and my merchandise.
Yeah, cool. So I'll make sure and link to all that. So man, how does a Brit lose the accent, huh?
I never had it.
Oh yeah?
Never had it. Yeah.
Just your parents, just household, just no
Well,
accent?
I grew up in Saudi Arabia. I didn't grow up in the UK.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So I was in the American school system up until fifth
Oh,
grade. Yeah. So
oh, okay.
yeah, in
Very
Saudi
cool.
Arabia, most of my teachers were American. And so I learned English mostly from Americans or people with American accents. So I've never actually sounded like a true Englishman.
So was your family as military or government?
Uh, no, my dad's a medical doctor.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he worked for an oil company out in Saudi Arabia. So we lived there for 19 years actually.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it, man. Great place.
Yeah, I've not been to the United Arab Emirates,
Okay, cool.
but not Saudi. Cool, man. So parting words of wisdom. I know you got to get going here. I mean, somebody listening to this, sometimes I'll ask my guests, as a result of listening to this, maybe they're at the gym, right? Pumping some iron. They're on a treadmill, they're biking. They can't take notes. Um, but what should they do the moment they get back to their desk, get back to their
Mm.
home? What should they put into practice to make things better, make themselves better, their business better, something? What should they do as a result of listening to this?
I would say that they should work on fulfilling their potential. If they're listening in the gym, then they're already working on that. But every day, I think you want to take a step closer towards fulfilling your potential physically, mentally, your knowledge, your relationships, your health, whatever it is. We've got all these different dimensions on our lives. And I think if you can make a very tiny bit of headway, a tiny bit of progress every single day on at least one of those aspects, ideally all of them, then those tiny little inches, add up to miles in the long run. And after, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years down the line, you'll just find that you are a much better person. And by you being a better person, you impact everybody around you, your friends, your family, everybody you associate with, your wider community, and ultimately the world. So I encourage people to firstly recognize they have great potential. And then regardless of what point they're starting from, just keep taking daily steps forward to improve on that.
Yeah, I always tell people they overestimate what they can achieve in a year, but they underestimate what they can achieve in 5, huh?
Real talk.
Everybody wants that instant gratification. It's like, man, stick with it. So
Stay
when are
with
we
it.
going to see you winning Grammys, man? Is it
Oh
soon?
boy, man, I don't even know if they'd have me. I've probably I'm too much of an industry outsider for that. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
All right, I'm going to start GrammyZubi.com. I'm going to work on that as soon as we hang up. All right, man. Well, thanks for taking time out of your evening. It was great catching up, and keep doing what you're doing, man. I love it.
Thanks, Wes. I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Have a great day.